This is Power Athlete Radio. With your hosts, Denny K, Professor Booty, and the Luke Summers. And now, toes forward, hips locked, shoulders set, and retract those scapulars. It's time for some knowledge bombs.
Go on.
What's happening, Power Athlete Nation? Welcome to episode 73 of Power Athlete Radio, the only strength and conditioning podcast capable of dropping massive knowledge bombs
and not getting arrested.
Bad jokes.
What?
And the occasional movie quote from movies that you'll never watch.
Whammy.
Big time, right? This is Denny. Today I'm with Luke, Callie, and Tex, and Playtech joined us. We're getting ready to kick some ass. How you guys doing over there?
Hot.
I'm pretty cool.
I feel nice.
It's so hot. We have ice packs on our head.
No, I dropped that. Mine's on my back. But no, it's pretty hot over here. It's like 80 degrees outside.
What's the deal with no air conditioner in California? It gets hot out there.
We didn't know that, though. Nobody knows that. We're in like this weird heat wave. And yeah, it's true. Nobody in this industrial center really has air conditioning. So no one's prepared to really be losing this much water weight every day.
California doesn't have air conditioners or basements.
So here's the deal. If you had the doors open and a fan blowing, it's fine. But our fan is so loud.
Right.
I'm guaranteed we would get like what's that noise in the background? I mean, there's already enough noise and riffraff in this complex as it is.
Yeah.
UPS doing wheelies in front of our freaking
every 10 minutes.
Yeah, in front of our shop every 10 minutes. It's, so we're doing it because of the noise. But there is those fans that are supposed to be silent. We should just get those.
Wait, are we talking about fans or are we talking about fans?
Yeah.
Like actual fans or fans of the show?
Both.
I think we only have one type, right? Like fans.
Silent fans.
We only have one fan.
Well, after the Kyle Turley podcast, we gained about two listeners.
Oh, killing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. How did you hear that one, Steve?
Yeah.
Dude,
How fucking cool was that?
I was on it for a little bit, but then I had to check out. Yeah, it was pretty ballin'.
I mean, dude didn't fail to deliver anything. Right off the bat, just starts talking about choking coaches.
Coach, yeah.
He was very candid. He held nothing back. I appreciate that. And he was a man of the world, so he was very open to discussing some controversial issues, things that we might find just a scotch taboo for our show. And that's actually saying a lot. So it was good.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's freaking highlight the Power Athlete Team Series. What were some of the things, Callie? First of all, the pictures were great, and I have to say that you are looking jacked.
Probably.
Oh, it's the lighting.
Is it the lighting? I mean, did you stop conditioning or what?
Chad Hamilton uses a lot of filters, so.
Yeah, and she did stop conditioning. She's only shampooing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
That's a good joke. I'm pretty proud of that one. I'm
simultaneously bulking and leaning at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the event went awesome. We went off in 4 cities, so we had a pretty busy weekend. All of us were out at various locations. And yeah, I mean, like, there's really nothing better than seeing people PR and just people hugging and teamwork, etc. Camaraderie. That's what we do it all for. People helping people.
And for at least for us at the Naperville event, there was one team there. Denny, can you shut your microphone off so you get those keys?
Sorry, I'm sitting on the boat right now in the swamp duck hunting.
But we had one team that it was 4 individuals who all went to the gym at different class times that had never met each other. And the first time they met was the day before to plan for the workouts and how they were going to do it. And then it was also all their first competition ever.
Holy smokes.
So it was like this weird, like first experience for everybody, and they were strangers, and like at the end of the competition, they were like best friends, jumping and hugging and clamoring along as they set PRs. And one of the girls had never done a thruster heavier than 65 pounds.
Whoa.
And tried doing a 105-pound thruster, couldn't do it. And then she smashed her 5, like got through her 5, and they moved on. And it was a battle for her. So
Did you get goosebumps watching that?
It was cool. It was really cool, and it was like it reminded me of Jay Welly's story about his teammate with Dwight Freeney. Like before they got going, they're like, "You can do 105-pound thrusters, can't you?" Like they're just a lift, and they got through it, but they were. They struggled at it, being new to that type of thing, and
yeah, I mean, there were definitely that's the good thing about the team series is like anyone can do it. And I will say though that Oklahoma, there weren't any girls struggling with the 105-pound thruster.
Yeah.
They were straight beasts there. There was a girl who did a 445 deadlift and then went for 500. And I was like, first of all, a 55-pound jump is not anything that I would do in my normal.
It's a little aggressive.
But she had pulled 500 before. So anyway, she ended up with a solid 445. And then there was another chick who is not what they would consider a bench press specialist. In fact, like she pulls, her deadlifts are over 400, but just in terms of how to strategize for the team series, they put her on bench, and she ended up benching like 205. And just like amazing stuff from definitely like the girls. They didn't struggle with the competition at all. And then obviously like guys, we had easily the average vertical jump was for like the guys who were lifting heavy was 35 inches, which is pretty legit. So
yeah, we had a vertical jump off. It was pretty cool. So we had 3 guys who pretty powerful squats, and then they were grouped together in that heat, and it was basically 35 and a half, 36 and a half, 37. And the tops, I think it was CrossFit Zero Gravity, hit at 38. So they were just one-upping each other left and right. It was pretty epic.
Did those guys, do you know what programs they were following? Were they doing Field Strong and getting on the CAT cycle?
I'm not sure. I should have checked in. I know CrossFit Zero Gravity, they one of their coaches in our Field Strong program.
So, and then on our side, on some of the highlights in terms of Carl Case was one of the competitors there, and one of his training partners and guys at his gym, Aaron Bell. A. Bell is like a long-time legend on the football site, and he put up 615 pounds like it was nothing. I mean, Denny, you saw it. It was pretty.
Yeah, he had more in the tank. He definitely had more in the tank on that one.
But
it was fast.
One thing about
like the bar whipped like 6 inches off the top of his shoulders.
Yeah, dude. And Carl is like, do you remember whether he's like 6 or 8 months off of knee surgery? And
I thought he said like 8 months.
Yeah, so he had been religiously following Field Strong and based off of his training max, he said he hadn't had much more than like 300 pounds on his back, 305, because he'd been working on speed out of the hole and improving his amortization phase and all this. He realized that he's got to put some weight on his back, and he did some walkouts that Hatfield had talked about, and did some heavy squats leading up to it. But he was pretty pleased that 8 months out of surgery, he's like 10 pounds off of his personal best.
Yeah.
So that was a big success story for him. But it was a great event, like you said, PRs, high fives, awesome music, and just some people, batons getting dropped. Like
really?
Foot races.
That didn't happen.
Foot races at the final
that
turn.
Was awesome.
So exciting events for sure to watch, and just good times all around in the Midwest.
The Kalsu workout was fucking cool, man.
Yeah,
I like how you guys put that one together.
Now, Callie, did you have enough space, or you guys had to have enough space to roll every 20 reps?
Yeah. So what we did before the final event is we took the the lower 4 teams and then the next 4 teams, etc. And we basically ranked them and had the top 4 teams go against each other for the final heat. And the way we had it set up was that we had the whole team, after 20 reps were completed, they would roll the plates up, they'd roll their bars up into the next square. And so you could kind of see, and it built a sense of, competitiveness, because without really knowing what rep each other's teams are on, you weren't really sure where they were at. So you could see teams advancing and then other teams looking at those teams and then really starting to kick it into gear. Yeah. So it was awesome. And so we had, in that last heat, we had 3 teams within several reps of each other, just because of they could kind of see where each other was at. So there was the intensity was for sure high. And the single leg bar over burpees were amazing. Some people had clearly practiced them, and then some people were just destroyed. Some people just really, really struggled with either balance or just power off of that one leg. So it was cool to watch.
Yeah, I think that was a great climax to kind of end on, because the teams they were scared at first, whether it was the 1 foot burpees or the 155 weight, and then everyone just busted their ass, and then it all ended with kind of hugs. No matter where they finished, it was that kind of peak where they all finally came together and closed out as a team.
Yeah, it was a great way the layout of the workouts and the progression of the day, I think, was well thought out on Callie's part. It ended quite well, definitely on a high note.
Another thing I noticed as far as teams working together was on the CrossFit Football Total.
Yeah.
Some of the teams that I like, Carl's team, they really they knew what they were doing. They all moved. Everything was synchronized. It was pre-planned, and it was they each took a turn at the lift, and which gave everybody else kind of enough rest in between for their second and third attempts. And then there would be another team, say, where they would knock out one, the power clean guy would get all 3 of his attempts in, and then they would move to the squad, and then they kind of went like that. And I felt that was a weakness, but I mean, they tried their best and hung in there, but it was interesting to see the team unit or teams working together.
Yeah.
And the strategy of it all. I like that. That was good.
I thought that was I was surprised at how interesting it was to watch, because in the past with Occupy Strength and when our past team series, it's we usually just have all the power cleaners are going at one time, all the back squatters, and I thought this was a much cooler way to do it, actually. When you watch 6 or 7 teams go simultaneously, you're never bored with what you're seeing, because there's always a different lift going on. And there's 20 minutes turned out to be more than enough time for everyone. And I think that it was the sweet spot where there was a sense of urgency and there had to be a sense of organization, but at the same time it was long enough for even some of the guys. I was surprised to see a lot of the guys taking that 20 minutes to actually warm up. So a girl would power clean, and then a guy would deadlift her weight a couple times to warm up. So it was just interesting how people were spending their time leading up to what their attempts. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, we had one slight log jam because Abel had all of the plates on his bar.
Yeah, I could see that.
So we had one team hey, they were trying to load up, I think 500 on a bar, and we just didn't have a pit prepared with steel plates, and Abel had it. So we came down to the last seconds, and there's a little countdown, but it ended up being a non-issue and kind of jacked the guy up. He got the lift, so
that's good.
It's always hard, how many in that sequence, we just had all teams in that heat on their heaviest lifts at the end.
Yeah.
Where we could have used just 4 or 5 more plates. And I mean, that's one of the challenges of planning these things, and especially for the hosts, is if they don't have everything, they rely on the network, I guess, and their local network to source.
Yeah.
And we were just short a couple steel plates.
The cool thing about at CrossFit CSA, Jesse Burdick's gym, they had plenty of weights.
Oh, yeah.
And so we had our grid set up. We had our little kind of go-to graveyard for weights in a safe area. And I was just kind of peeking around at these guys in this back room that they have just warming up. And I was like, you know what? let's find some extra hundreds, let's find some extra 45s and give one of those to each and every group. And luckily that we had some heavy ass weights moved, so luckily we kind of increased our graveyard a little bit.
Yeah. But and then at the end of the day, it was all celebration for us. I mean, we had about 10 people stick around and have a couple cocktails, tell some war stories, and then Denny, where did we go that night? What was it, like the Lantern or something?
Yeah, the
Malort's.
infamous Lantern. Luke's like a celebrity there. Luke and Neil, they walk in. There's like people start giving them hugs and high fives, and they start pulling out like lost tabs. Like, oh, Luke, yeah, hey, you owe us some money, and they start pulling out. They're all dated. It's like, man, I kind of felt like we own the place.
It's like Dalton in Roadhouse.
Yeah, like they start whispering, "Hey, it's Dalton."
I thought he'd be bigger.
I didn't know you'd be bragging about that.
But Denny, so a quick, totally off the subject story. I guess. So Denny had to take off a little early, and I ended up staying with some friends and Carl and
is that
and
what
we
you
were
call
there.
jail?
And we stayed till pretty late, till like 1 o'clock, and right before they start shutting everything down and calling last call and everything. And I guess right after we left, some riffraff came in looking for trouble, and they started hassling my bartenders. And the guy, I guess, ordered a beer from the bartender, and the bartender handed the guy the credit card and really quickly took a big gulp out of his beer and was all drunk and stumbling around. And the bartender's like, hey, what do you want me to do? You want me to keep this open, or you want to get something else? Because it was a minimum on the credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the guy said, legally, I don't have to buy this beer because you asked me that after I took a drink out of it. He's like, legally, you're going to buy that beer because this is our bar.
So I'm going to legally kick your
And
ass.
I'm going to swipe this card and charge you.
Yeah.
He's like, now legally, you owe me a water. And he tried to pour the beer out on the bar.
What a
And like, I guess all the bartenders and bouncers kind of like wrangled him up and kindly escorted him out the front door.
Uh-huh.
But it's good thing.
You weren't around to see that though?
Well, because, I got the Terminator and the Eliminator here that might have played some assistance in defending
If
my
you
bar.
can't see Luke, he's holding up his right fist and his left fist.
Terminator, Eliminator.
Anyway.
So, yeah, we missed out on that nonsense. Could you imagine being in the middle of a brawl at the Lantern, Denny, and how great this podcast could have been?
But it's not like
I know, dude. I was kind of looking forward to something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just Kyle Turley and shit.
Yeah, strangled the guy.
I'm joining the Marines.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck with that. Like I was saying, it's not the 1950s. You guys would have gone to jail.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it works.
It just sounded like the typical college young punk coming in, thinking they know it all, running their mouth, and
You're telling
sometimes
me
you gotta just get punched right in the face.
you're telling me that the cops would have showed up and been like, hey, stop, go home. You don't think that would have happened?
Get out of here. Oh, man.
Back of Paddy Wagon with Denny.
So anyways, so now the first place teams are going to be coming to California. They all, I got in touch with all of them, and they're, everyone seems to be making plans to get out here and taking advantage of the $1,500 travel voucher. And so they'll come out and we'll throw down. It's in SoCal at Cross of Balboa. So if anyone is local and wants to come in as a ringer and take these teams on, I highly encourage it. That's going to be October 11th at Cross of Balboa. And I know we've got some of our own teams competing, and I swear it's good, but it's not good because it makes me so sad that I can't compete. I would love to do this.
Well, can I compete?
No.
What?
No.
That's not in the contract.
So, it's going to be a good final event. I know these teams are excited, and we'll see how they do.
When are we going to learn about the workouts?
The workouts are in the works. They're definitely going to be doing the CrossFit Football Total again in the same exact style. So,
okay. But
we're going to be releasing them the end of this week and the start of next week. So I'm going to have them out there a little bit more in advance because it seems like, as with most CrossFit competitions, people like to know what they're going to do beforehand, and it helps them sleep at night. Yeah, and if they're on the fence and big giant pussies, then they at least know what they're going to do, so they feel a sense of preparedness.
Are we still doing the one arm or 2 arm straight barbell curl 1RM?
Straight barbell. Yeah. Against the
strict
wall.
curl.
Against the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that watch?
Shh.
Oh.
It's John's. I want to see if he notices. So John loses his watch on a regular basis here.
That and sunglasses.
Yeah.
And
So,
it's just usually me and Callie wearing it.
it's like, have you guys seen my sunglasses? I'm like, no, you need to know the time.
But what else? What else is on the docket today, boys and girls?
Let's go with Tex just released this Plyo article, and before we hopped on the air, we were just kind of going over, or at least I was going over the differences between the vertical jumps that I saw out at the games and the jumps that I saw at the Power Athlete Team Series. And I don't know if you guys noticed that. I mean, we were all together out at the games, and I know that's a different crowd. People just coming up who have never jumped before, and you typically saw the same poor mechanics. But at the Power Athlete Team Series that I was at, I felt like people had practiced a little bit more. I didn't see so much of like the valgus knees or kind of jumping and hitting the keys and stuff like that. But I did notice like the lower, the dip in the knees and then pausing for a few seconds and then jumping.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, and Tex kind of goes over that in his article that he released. I don't know, like, Callie, if you noticed any difference in the jumpers out there, and if Tex had as well at NorCal. Did you guys, what'd you notice?
Did anyone fall over on their landing?
One guy fell over on his landing.
No falls.
There was one chick, just like not to get too far off topic, but there was one chick who was doing a reverse ball toss who fell over backwards, and I'm trying so hard not to laugh right now, but it was unfortunate. But Chad got like several pictures of it. I think he only posted like the less offensive ones. But it was the poor girl. I mean, she was really getting after it. But you know what that looks like when your arms are over your head and you basically fall over.
Backflop?
Yeah, you can't really support yourself there.
Reverse ball slam backflop. No reverse ball slam backflop.
Anywho, what was the question? the valgus knees. I mean, obviously the people who had better jumping form were jumping higher.
Yeah.
It was pretty. It's pretty amazing too. I would make like little judgments based on body type of who I thought was going to judge higher. Or jump higher, and I wasn't always right, which is unusual for me. So that was new.
We had our group was pretty good. So we had I'll just look at my stats here. We had two guys that hit 38, and then a 37, and another 36, and we have one guy that I was watching him jump and talking to him as I was measuring. He was behind all these guys and he couldn't figure it out. So he was grazing 32 at his best, and he was sitting there stunned. He's like, his back squat was up there with the best of them, but he was just at a disconnect. And I thought that was just crazy interesting and then I talked with one of the athletes who jumped, the guy pictured in the article. So he was a ex-NFL guy, and all the other guys have actually trained in kind of Olympic lifting and 1 rep max competitions. And this other guy's background was just kind of fitness training and playing high school sports. And he just didn't have that capability of executing one moment, one time, one instant. And he just couldn't figure it out while he was standing there, like with his jaw dropped to the ground. And he was trying his best, but it was nowhere near these guys.
That's a bummer, man. Yeah, we had Big Abel who, how much do you think Aaron weighs, Denny, if you had to guess?
Like, from what I remember, maybe
he's
like
over
315.
Yeah, he's over 3, but he was up there trying to hit that 30. I think he came in with 28. I'm trying to look at my scorecards here, remember which one is his. But that's a big boy. But our high was 34 inches.
Well, I'm sorry, what did Abel get?
I think 30.
No
29
way.
and a
Are you
half or 30.
serious?
Yep.
That's pretty good for his size.
That's supposed to mean. I hope he's not listening.
I mean, he's a big boy.
He had a 6-pack.
Did he really?
Yeah, it was like Coors Light.
Beer.
You're talking about Abel.
Yeah,
Too
yeah.
easy.
Dude, like his background was lacrosse and hockey.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what he played. Yeah, that's what he played at in college. He said he was a goalie, which makes sense. But yeah, I was surprised for that. I figured for sure, like, football and then some, or some other type of field sport. But when he pulled out hockey, I was like, damn, I didn't picture that one.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Because
awesome.
hockey players aren't good at anything.
You got something against hockey players?
Yeah, that's the first thing Steve says. Of course.
But I'm also basing, like I said in like maybe episode 6, I'm basing this off of my deadbeat friends who played hockey and are terrible at
No,
everything.
I'm pretty much good at nothing, so that's pretty accurate. You got 2 data points now.
Basing off of Mighty Ducks 1. Mighty Ducks.
Knuckle puck. Flying V. What?
Oh, fucking hell.
But so Bobby has his debrief here on some stuff. The top list there, they had a couple almost 640, 645 deadlifts. And then they had a 525 squatter that jumped 35.5 on their vert. That was team
That's great.
Alpha Viper Strike Team Victor Squadron.
They have the most annoying fucking name ever. But I didn't make them rename it because I just thought if I could get away with it, I would. So what was it? Alpha Viper Strike.
Alpha Viper Strike Team Victor Squadron Ultimate.
Did you guys have a best team name competition?
That's
No,
hilarious.
But it's up there.
We
That's
had
a good
two.
one.
We had 2 teams in OKC. One was Buck You, and one was Buck Me. It was awesome. Anywho,
So that was the team series, right?
Yep,
What
yeah.
about travel? Did you guys have any issues traveling home?
no issues. Just tons of OU fans on my flight. Everyone asking me if I was going to the OU game,
Yeah.
and I said no. Who's winning the match?
State. Tex, what about you?
Negative, but I'll tell you what. Every time we do like an East Coast seminar, Luke or Callie, they fly out east. And this was my first time going from east to west and just one weekend in and out. And I'll tell you what, that like 8-hour trip with like, doing that twice, it sucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
this was my first time being in their shoes in that respect. And I'll tell you, I gain a lot of respect for both of you.
Thank you.
It's the worst thing in the world, especially if you don't have anything movies to watch or any Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's just torture. I mean, might as well throw me in jail.
If Luke doesn't bring his splitter, his headphone splitter,
And I just get to
I just
watch.
cry the whole time.
And she just gets to watch me watch all my favorite movies.
Why don't you buy your own, Callie?
I don't know because I don't make enough money.
No, Callie doesn't understand technology and plugs and wires, cell phones. I'm
I just
looking at,
asked Luke to act it out later.
which I
So
oblige.
I was only there for a few days, kind of, and I decided to take full advantage. I'd never been to San Fran, so I just did a quick jump up there. It was like an hour away, and saw the Golden Gate Bridge for the first time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then drove on it, but you have to pay a toll, and
Yeah.
it's not like a cash toll. So I'm going to receive some freaking driving ticket from California in 2 weeks. A little photo of me so they know it's me, like all puzzled and lost. But
Just like the one you got from the UK.
or how about the one I got in SoCal, not wearing my seatbelt in the back seat, my
Oh,
first
that's
time in
hilarious.
California. That's some bullshit. But Sunday morning, Freddie hosted an event for neuroblastoma, and since I was down the block from him, I decided to go in, participate, rep some Wade's Army. And that was cool to kind of hang out and see the support that he had in there. I think he raised over $4,000
Wow.
for one of his SWAT cop buddies who's going through the fight right now.
That's great. The Golden Gate Bridge I've run over once, and it was terrifying. Were you not scared to drive over it?
I was thinking about the toll and like how fucked I was, but it was beautiful.
Anything that's on Modern Marvels, you need not worry about.
Huh?
It's a TV show.
Modern Marvels?
Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty sure that might have been on there.
Yeah.
So you got that going for you.
No, it's not that modern. It's rickety. It's like a wooden roller coaster.
So
You
Tex-
just don't do it.
Tex, speaking of Wade's Army, let's get going on that. What do we got?
So we've announced our shirts, which are pretty freaking awesome. So we have a little guy screaming whammy for the men's, and then we actually decided to mix it up for the ladies. We have a little lady wizard on there for the tank top. But shirts are freaking unreal, and what we need to get going is letting people know about them. So there is a deadline, so you can only get your shirt if you order by October 14th in order to get it for Wade's Day, which is November 12th. Which is going to be a Wednesday this year. So we've kicked off. We recruited a bunch of gyms to be a part of this. I think we're sitting around 15 grand as we speak, which is great. But we doubled our goal. So last year our goal was 30K. This year we just said hell with it. Let's go all in. So we got a goal of 60K. And I mean, we're recruiting gyms. We're recruiting kind of people to champion this thing, and that's what we need more of. So I know Denny, Steve, Luke, Callie, you all got your pages going, but it's not as easy as donating $30 or starting a page. Try to get other people involved as well.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead. Okay, all right, I'll go. Our gym, I think Christian is going to lead a little fundraising thing through the gym, and then I think I'm going to get the Surge to try and do it as well. So hopefully we can get some money through those two avenues.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say that this year I wanted to kind of step it up. So I just finished writing up all the workouts. We're going to host a throwdown. I think it's going to be November 1st. And I'm looking, like, my goal is to at least get, I upped mine to like $5,000. It's great to hear that Freddie was able to get 4,000. So that gets me fired up. And we're going to host a throwdown, and all the proceeds are going to go to Wade's Army. So hopefully this year, that, and then doing the workout. And I've already got some people who have purchased some shirts on my page. So I'm looking to step it up this year,
Yeah, we're also making strides just outside of this whole fundraising thing. I know there's a Cure Fest this weekend in Washington, D.C., and it's where a bunch of kind of cancer 501c3s and organizations come together to fight pediatric cancer. And so the DeBruin family's coming down. I'm already here. So we're going to participate in all the events on Saturday, and then do the walk on Sunday, rocking the Wade's Army tees, handing out information, and meeting a lot of people that are kind of in this organization thing, so we can start kind of making and legitimatizing ourselves as a kind of fundraising campaign for pediatric cancer. So it started as just a T-shirt fundraiser by John 3 years ago, and we're really making strides with it. And it's been an amazing ride so far. Heather's been great, and just kind of fighting for her son. And what's cool is Scott DeBruin, Wade's pop. He is training for Wade's Day this year, so nice. He's taking care of some exercise logs, and we're going to be posting kind of his experience, his journey over the next couple months leading up to that event. So it is not just a workout, and we want people to kind of see and feel that as well. So we're going to make this as big as we can, and as far as we can reach people.
Tex, for anyone that this might be their first exposure to Wade's Army, go through a little history for us and kind of just a little timeline on where we've started and where we came from, just in a little bit more detail.
Awesome. So this, Kate Wellborn, she was pregnant with twins, and she grew up with Heather DeBruin, and Heather had a daughter and a son. And while Kate was pregnant, John and Kate, Wade, the young boy, he was diagnosed with neuroblastoma and passed away and left his twin sister behind. So that was where the connection was made, kind of with the Wellborns and the DeBruins. And John decided he needed to do something about it. So he started a T-shirt campaign, and it was just kind of to raise money for Wade's Wings, which was started by the DeBruins. And they were able to raise over $15K that first year just from T-shirt sales. And so after that point, it was just T-shirts. And then the next year we got involved, and we decided to make this thing more than it was. And we were able to raise $50K last year. And that's where we decided, you know what, we have all this power, we have this reach, let's make something of it. So we combined with the DeBruin family to make this an official 501c3 and combine it with Wade's Wings. And it's all about banding together. So I've been doing a lot of research on neuroblastoma, and there's a lot of little fundraisers going on, little families who start something in honor of their kid. But at the bottom line is this thing is so small. What we need to do is just expand our reach and kind of engulf and take this neuroblastoma thing head on as a team versus a small individual thing. So we're trying to grow in that respect. What started as us, kind of that small thing, we're making strides and we're making connections to kind of make that a reality. Many of you may be familiar with the Bengals defensive tackle. So he was in training camp when his daughter was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, and eventually he was cut, but then they signed him to the practice squad, and now he's just been kind of called up to the team. So he's going through that fight. Defensive tackle still on the Bengals. So that's great in respect to awareness for neuroblastoma, but we want to do more. So we started with awareness, and now we're actually funding phase 1 clinical trials. And it's come a long way in 3 years from just a T-shirt campaign. So that's where we stand right now, and we let's keep the ball rolling.
It's beautiful. More info at wadesarmy.org for anybody who's new to it. That's where you can find all the info about claiming your shirt and where to donate and all that stuff. So
yeah.
Denny, where are we at on our timeline, amigo?
We're probably at 40 minutes.
Alrighty.
So what about some upcoming seminars that you guys have going on and Steve's Spotify? I seen Steve sent the list out, so I asked Steve to put together like 4 or 7 songs that he likes to train to because he's a professional athlete now. And I didn't get a chance to look over every single song. But Steve, what were some of the songs you put out there, dude?
I don't know. Danzig song, Chevelle. I think I put a Jamie Johnson song out there. Just kind of stuff that pops up in my Spotify from time to time. I think I put Motley Crue. I listen to a real eclectic mix, everything from like hair music to country to like Pink or Lady Gaga. I mean, and then like metal in between. So I just sent you a few examples of that.
Gotta love Pink for that girl power. Girl power. You lift that bar up.
Don't act like you don't like Pink, Luke.
Dude, I thought you said Hank, like Hank Williams Jr., dude. I just lost all respect from you. I gained so much, and I just lost it when Luke said Pink.
I'm telling you right now, you could ask any of my buddies. There was right when Genie in a Bottle came out, Christina Aguilera, Pink had whatever song she had, and I'm like, I guarantee Pink is going to be a bigger sensation than Aguilera, and I was outnumbered. I was the only guy, and right now Pink is the largest girl in Hollywood.
Aguilera become a fat turd.
Oh my God! Are you really like tooting your own horn on how prophetic you are in determining female pop singers?
Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing you're a Britney girl.
That's is that a bragging point for you? You know, honestly, Luke, I don't even put 2 thoughts into it.
What are you
exactly?
saying?
John isn't that.
Wellborn just crambered into the door.
He's like,
wait, what? Who?
Exactly.
So I'm saying over 15 years ago, I predicted that Pink would be a bigger sensation than Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears.
This is retarded. This is dumb. This is dumb.
I just got dumber from listening to you.
Yeah.
Why? How? Is Pink a bigger star?
She is now. Okay, so here's the thing about Pink. All right, I saw her.
You know, she's from Philly.
Is she?
Yeah.
Keep Philly track.
Anywho, well.
So you saw her.
Well,
so did I.
So
you saw Pink at concert?
So Lissa had tickets, so free tickets for her work. So we saw her from like, you know, the box seats or whatever. And let me tell you, the people that attend a Pink concert are some of the most desperate looking. No offense.
Whoa. Do you equate them to people that comment on YouTube videos?
Potentially.
Lowest level life form.
Yeah.
YouTube video commenters.
Yeah, these people, they were interesting.
Watch?
But no.
Yeah. Callie, that's called good timing.
Pun intended.
Let's call it good timing. Take take some notes. Get out your paper.
Anyway,
Go back to work.
Are we done here?
No, we're just getting started.
Anyway. So sorry, Steve's playlist. Anyway, I respect Pink. Her more recent work has been it'll get you going, It gets your
Chili hot.
Your chili hot.
This reminds me of a scene from Zoolander.
Yeah.
Sting. Another one of my icons.
I don't listen to his music, but
He's out there making that.
He's making it.
And I respect that.
Now what do you guys want to talk about?
Who's going to Germany next week?
I'm going with
the Germans.
I'm going with John. So we leave Thursday morning, fly out, and then we're back Tuesday morning.
Which is total bullshit because my last name is Hintzman, and you would think that I am the closest to the Germans, so I should somehow make a trip there.
No.
What gym's it going to be at?
It's at Reebok CrossFit Nuremberg. Yeah,
you've been there before.
Yeah, they're our go-to spot, and internationally, it's hard to know which spots to go to. But Drake came to our seminar. He's him and his coaches over there are great coaches, and they always take good care of the staff and are very very accommodating, and especially when you're in foreign waters and you may not know whether to go left or right. They do lead you down the right path, but it's a good time out there. And we're going to try and find some brew houses to go check out, see if we get any spare time to go sightseeing a little bit. But
don't get lost.
Drink some warm beer.
Yeah.
They drink beer warm out there, dude, for real?
Yes.
That's gross.
Is it? I can think of worse things.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm a pussy.
Well,
it's not gross. It's just different.
I mean, the only time I've actually when I drink warm beer, it's like when I'm 3 sheets into the wind and maybe I'm talking too much and the beer's gotten warm in my hand and I just keep drinking it or something like that. I usually don't purposely drink it.
Denny, we call that cowboy cold. So how it works in Germany is they deliver this freaking gallon of beer, and by the time you get halfway through or the bottom, it's warm.
Yeah, and it's not warm like it's been sitting in the sun. It's
cowboy cold.
And Germany's not that hot of a place.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like they're not microwaving it.
I wouldn't know, you guys.
Oh, it's the greatest. If you can find it, you can find it.
Well, I'll drink some warm beer here, and it'll be like I'm in Germany.
It will be. And then we're going to be back in Illinois for a seminar in Naperville. So we have a couple people from the competition that are going to be going to the seminar. That's going to be super cool to see them again. What else do we got? What else is on the schedule? Then the week after that, we got the War in SoCal. And then what's the seminar after that?
And then it's Christmas.
Arizona.
Right? Yeah.
Going to Arizona.
Then
going
SoCal.
to Carlsbad, California. And then Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires, and then NorCal. So this is like our West Coast tour. So we gotta get out there, get signed up, and have your mind blown by the CrossFit Football Seminar.
Mm-hmm.
But what else we got? Any other updates? Yes, no, maybe. Playtech, what do you got? What's your schedule looking like over there?
It's crazy. Next week I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina for the grid quarterfinals and semifinals. Hopefully we make it to the semifinals, and then if we make it past those two rungs of the bracket, we go, I think, out to Irvine, California. I'm not sure the location yet or the venue yet for the finals. So
really, it's right in our backyard, buddy.
Yeah. So if I come out there, can I maybe crash in? Don't you have a train that drives through your apartment or something?
Well, you could just sleep in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect. I hear it's very temperate in there.
Yeah. 84 right now.
84.
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
Yeah.
It gets cooler at night. It drops down to low 80s.
Like 81.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Just been doing that grid thing, and then some.
Well, how's that been going, man? I mean, seems like we haven't had you on to participate in ages and ages.
Yeah, they keep me pretty busy. There was some monetary issues that were run around Facebook. One of the big investors pulled out like a couple $1 million, which caused a couple of matches to be canceled. And then I what I understand is through the powers of social media, sort of releasing the fact that an investor had pulled and they had to cancel some matches, and people stepped up and made it happen. So they just recently had a doubleheader out in LA, I think, or maybe no, San Francisco, and then now the quarterfinals and the semifinals are happening next week. So it seems like we're back on. So we're looking to go in and try and crush some people in Charlotte.
So take me through like a tournament or a match weekend as for you, like if you're traveling. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, sure. So the team usually flies you in the morning of the day before a match, because that evening you usually have either a team meeting or a league meeting. So you'll go and see the venue and that sort of thing. Then the team will have a meeting where coach and players will get together and talk about assignments, that sort of thing. And then the day of a match is actually quite booked up. So you have like walkthrough, practice announcements, and then on the grid practices with the team, and then some media stuff, and then the match lasts 2 hours, and it's run like a fine-oiled machine. It's to the T, unless there's some kind of challenge or something like that where you have to replay a race. And then afterwards, you go eat and drink, and then fly home. That's basically the deal. So our matches have been in Boston, which was a fun place, and then Miami, which, I mean, it's Miami.
Yeah.
Yummy.
So,
did you go out in Miami?
Yeah.
At what time?
I have no idea.
Dude, because when we had a seminar in Miami, I think it was me and Ben, and they're like, hey, let's go out. And we're like, all right, well, what time are you thinking? It's Saturday after the seminar, and, we'll go out, have some cocktails. And they're like, well, we're meeting up for a birthday party at 11:30, and then we're going to go hit the clubs at like 1:15. And I'm like, yeah, right. And, dude, these guys just started going out at 1:30 in the morning, and they were there the next day at the seminar.
Yeah, we in the Miami match, we got out of the arena around 10:30, 11 o'clock. We had like a T-shirt signing and some media stuff and like meet the fans and stuff like that. We our home match in Miami, we had over 1,000, maybe 1,500 people in attendance, and the place was rocking because it was against the New York Rhinos, whose team is pretty stacked with relatively famous CrossFit athletes, and it went neck and neck. It was like they won one, we won one. And it came down to the final match, and we won by 1 point. So it was pretty exciting. And so we got back to the hotel like 11:30, and I'm not sure what time we got in. I'm not sure that I would remember anyway. I had a little bit to drink, so.
That will happen.
It was late.
So you mentioned something earlier that reminded me of the conversation I was having with the dude yesterday about the when somebody's challenged. So like if a team is challenged, the teams could potentially have to do the entire workout over again.
Well, it's not the entire workout, so there are rules. So for most of them, it's like the last two portions of a workout. So if there are 4 quadrants on the grid and somebody challenges a movement, then the team has to redo in 30 seconds. If the challenge is upheld, you have 30 seconds to prepare, and then you do the last 2 elements of that same race. If it's the strength ladder, what happens is you actually redo it. So the strength ladder, every athlete goes through the strength ladder as fast as possible for as much tonnage as possible, and you get 2 points for an overall win, and then you get an additional bonus point if your women lift more than the other team's women. So it's a pretty important race, and if that gets challenged for some reason, then what happens is you run the whole thing again in 2 minutes, and you can run as many athletes as you want through it, but you only have 2 minutes to get through. So and in 30 seconds, you just have to pick, your strongest athletes and make sure they're fresh. And it's pretty crazy. So when we played New York, it was ridiculous. They challenged, I think, the first 4 or 5 races. And finally, or maybe it was 3 or 4. Anyway, finally, once your challenge doesn't get upheld, then you lose that flag. And it was like they were just trying to tire us out. Like, we run because we were beating them. and then we would beat them on the rerun. And so, I mean, but it's tough. The intensity level on the grid is it's really different than, say, like your typical weekend throwdown competition where you've got 6 events or 8 events across 2 days or something, where you want to go fast, but you want to pace yourself because you got a long weekend ahead of you. This is, imagine having 11 workouts in 2 hours, and your job is to run out there and go balls to the wall, like redline it until you can't go anymore, and then tag somebody else who can redline it, who tags somebody else who redlines it.
Right.
And then each match, the longest one is 7 minutes. Most of them are about 4 minutes, with just a couple minutes of recovery in between before you're going again. So it's pretty taxing. It doesn't seem like it would be, because at the end of the day, like, you count up your reps and you might do like 130 reps, but it's all at sort of, it's relatively high weight intensity, but like the physiological intensity is super high, and you're going.
Well, yeah.
You know, like,
it allows for it. It allows for that short duration, like, just crazy intensity.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I was telling John, it's like the power athlete, like hard, heavy, fast. That's kind of what it's about, and it's kind of super fun, actually. So
yeah.
So how has the team grown? I know that, so you've had a few matches now, and I remember that we talked about kind of the team camaraderie and element
dynamic.
of it. Is it do you find yourself getting a little more closer? Have people found their roles, I guess, anecdotally, from between your team and other teams that you're familiar with?
Yeah, I can't speak for other teams except for like what I see on the social media. So I mean, it looks like the DC team is pretty solid like that way, and the San Fran team, some of the other teams I'm not sure about. Our team has come together really well. We're all super friendly. We all, go out to dinner together, go out partying afterwards together, have like nicknames, that sort of thing. So it seems like we've grown as a family, and we're all willing to realize our attributes of the team and our weaknesses, and fill in and just work hard, basically. So it's been pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. We've come together pretty well, I think. And we were at the beginning of the season. The league has somebody who writes like a prediction for the season, and we were ranked last. We were ranked 8th out of 8 teams. And now we're ranked 2nd or 3rd because we were undefeated. So nice. We've got a really strong team, and our strong dudes, like Marco Coppola, he can clean and jerk over 400, snatch over 315, but then he can also do like 15 muscle ups and climb a rope and jump on a box and do handstand push-ups. In fact, he probably does handstand push-ups faster than anyone I've ever seen. So we've got this weird dynamic of strength and skill that comes together. It's pretty interesting, like men and women competing together. Sometimes you'll have a man competing against a woman in the same weight, the same movement, which is, I think, hard for people who are watching to comprehend. Like a woman might be doing toes to bar and a man might be doing toes to bar, and when the woman beats him, it's like, how can that happen? How are they on the same playing field? How's it been leveled? But that's kind of the cool thing about grid, that plus the old guys like me. So it's been
normalizes it a bit.
Yeah. It's been fun. If you guys get a chance, check it out. We're playing our first quarterfinal on Tuesday of next week at 5 p.m. Eastern time on mpgl.com. You can watch the live stream. We'll be playing, I think, the Philadelphia team, the Philadelphia Founders. So,
well, I tell you what, Steve, you guys make it to Irvine, and you will have the most obnoxious cheering crew you could imagine.
My cheers are dialed in,
dude.
Nuts and bolts.
It's not so much that I will cheer for you, but I will heckle the shit out of the other team.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Well, that's motivation to make it there. Then I mean,
I hope so.
We really want to win because we were ranked so low to begin with. We were, underdogs. We don't necessarily have any, super well-known folks on our team, but we've got some really solid athletes that just leave it all out there on the grid. So it's been fun.
Cool.
And I was somehow during training camp, I was voted the team captain.
Yeah.
Made me feel good, and like we helped. Me and my co-captain, we helped sort of like keep the team on track, and keep the morale high when the match was canceled and that sort of thing. So it's been an interesting experience for me.
Good.
So are you in charge of like the pregame speech?
I mean, in charge of, is that like something that somebody assigns you to do? No. Do I do that?
As a natural leader, yes.
Yeah, I try to do that. Yeah. So there's a couple of people that try to do it, and then I don't know. I make my living out of speaking in front of people, and so it's a little bit easier for me. And some people, when they do it, feel like they just, they botch it up. And
yeah, Steve, people like us, we're just natural born leaders, and so sometimes it just comes more naturally to us than others.
That's funny. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if I'm a natural leader, but I do try to rally the troops and get everyone on the same page. That is basically win at all costs, because the thing is, I hate losing. And we all hate losing.
Yeah.
So.
It's not that bad. You just gotta get used to it.
Steve, are they giving you like specific training protocols, or they just kind of do they expect that everybody on the team kind of has their own routine and they're just going to keep it up and show up on game day, ready to rock and roll?
Yeah. No, not really. We don't have like a training protocol per se. Our coach sends out some test workouts that are approximations of what you might do on the grid. And those are good. The problem is, it's not a problem. The challenge is that you want to test those at high intensity. So to incorporate those into your regular training program, sometimes
it's difficult, right? Because the environment's different.
Yeah, I mean, if you just squatted, like the other day we squatted, 5 singles at 95%, and then to add in like a couple of heavy deadlifts with heavy weighted pistols as fast as you can.
Yeah.
It's challenging, but so you do it, you work it in. And I think that's what people are doing basically, is staying on their, like we've been doing well, we've been winning, and we've got good solid athletes that can do the movements that they're assigned to. So if everyone keeps on that program and then adds this stuff in just to make sure, like I don't climb a rope that often, I don't do muscle ups that often, but I certainly have done more lately just to make sure if somebody loses their grip strength come the 10th or 11th race and I need to go in and do some muscle ups, I need to be able to go in and do some muscle ups. So I think that's kind of how most people are thinking about it. And so there's no like assigned training program. I have been following a sort of modified Field Strong, where I follow the Field Strong strict to a T, and then I just add stuff on top of that in either my in my warm-up prep or in my second training session for the day.
Yeah. Do you think, do you see as this sport grows, like the need for a team maybe to bring in a strength and conditioning coach?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, right.
I think, if it grows into something big, you're going to have, you can't just have a head coach. You're going to have a series of coaches that because this work kind of, you can be a good generalist and get away with a lot, but there are some realms in which specialists are just going to be, like gymnasts. If some of the workouts are, it's like 45 bar muscle ups, 30 ring muscle ups, and then like 15 of those backward roll to supports. Well, look at like 235 pounds. There's only a couple guys in the league that can do that. You know what I mean? So then you need these little ninjas. And so you're going to have to hone those skills, and you're going to have specialist coaches and a general training program around this particular time domain and energy domain, which is sort of that super short, but then like it's almost like intervals. I mean, a match is almost like a giant EMOM, right? Where you're like 30, 40 seconds of hard work, rest, 30, 40 seconds of hard work, but you're doing it for 2 hours. So it's pretty taxing. And so that kind of interval work, I think, is going to be something that somebody's going to need to come in. And I've thought a lot about training and coaching this kind of thing. So
yeah, it'd be a little bit different, right? I mean, you wouldn't want like the classic. I don't know that's the right way to say, like the classic strength and conditioning coach. I mean, some of the things that we've talked about on previous podcasts were just like some of these coaches out there that just like spit up the same, like, you know, regurgitated garbage that really doesn't seem to be that creative. This looks like a situation where there could be like almost a newer type of a strength and conditioning coach. Does that sound right?
Yeah, absolutely, Denny. I mean, I think anything, right? Like any other sport, like what we talk about on the podcast is that, you know, an assessment of the sport and the needs of the sport are going to demand the training program that's designed to maximize optimal performance on the grid or on the field, right? So somebody's going to have to do like a look back at all the videos and like who did what good and how'd they do it and what was their training like, and then design it around that particular sport, just as if it was hockey or football or baseball. You know, you don't do general CrossFit to be good to play in the NFL. Yeah, will CrossFit get you in shape? Yeah, but it might not make you the best football player. So I think there's going to have to be somebody who comes up with kind of a tweak on a strength and conditioning program. But at the base level, something like Field Strong, where you're just getting strong at things like the squat and the press and general conditioning, is always going to be a foundation of any sport training program. And then there's going to be that sport specific stuff that is, you're going to have to demand something from a different coach or a specialist coach. I mean, that's kind of my take on it. I don't know, maybe the other guys have more insight on that, but that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, it's the same way we break down and we talk about it at the seminar, reverse engineering. And it's not just sport specific, it's athlete specific, right?
Yeah, right.
So you end up coming into this crux of when you're given, whether or not you're assigned a set of athletes or you have selected a set of athletes, do you spend the majority of their time attacking their limiting factors, or do you improve upon their strengths? And which is going to what's going to require the least amount of resource and give you the best amount of payout, right? Because odds are, and Steve knows this is not an offense to him, but he wasn't recruited because of his muscle up skills. Right. You know, but he certainly has to have base level competency in that, and he knows that and can understand that, smart guy. But you know, but that's the same way on a football field. You know, you hear John talk about his you know, who he was as a player and who some of his coaches tried to get him to play like. And it's just, you either utilize the strengths or you attack the weaknesses. And at the end of the day, the objective is to win games and put out the best numbers on the field or in the rink or on the pitch or in the grid.
Luke, and you nailed it on the head with this sport. And like some of the teams that haven't been doing so well, what you'll see them doing is putting people in race after race, event after event, doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So having like a 6'3" guy who can snatch 320, doing muscle ups for reps or climbing the rope, when you've got little bodyweight ninjas, and then having these little bodyweight ninjas doing hang cleans at 215, cycling, you know, and letting them do 10, 15, 20 reps when obviously they're slowing down. So, you know, a lot of what's happening is everyone's pretty good in this league. Like, I mean, I say pretty good because I've ended up in there, but there are a lot of really fucking good athletes in this league, and maximizing their potential and noticing things like when speed delays and, like you said, athlete and sport or quote unquote position specific types of stuff is what's going to be needed for this sport to grow. And I think if they do that, I've said it before, I think you're going to see people move weight and move their body in ways that you may not have seen before, and like at speeds that are just sort of incomprehensible.
Yeah, and that all breaks down to also training age. And I would assume that most of the people involved, at least on your team, Steve, that you can speak to, you know, it's not like their second year doing this type of functional fitness or training specific sport stuff.
No, nobody's been like, how long have you been doing CrossFit? Oh, 6 months. That's what
yeah, so then,
these are like people who have been to regionals like 3-4 times. Mm-hmm. All of our Masters athletes except me have been to the Masters games. People have been to the games on teams. I'm actually the only person on my team who has not made it past the Open.
It's not funny.
I know. I'm laughing with.
I mean, you know, so hopefully this coming up year when I'm in the 40 plus range, I know you guys know I missed by 2 days this past year.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll change this year, and I'll end up maybe making it somewhere else. But
Sure.
So we have a lot of top quality athletes have been at this for a long time, either in other sports or in the CrossFit, functional fitness, weekend warrior type, or weekend throwdown type of realm. So.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm getting at in terms of the requirement to specialize your training falls much further down the life cycle of your training age, right? So if you're 3, 4, 5 years into this, like you're probably still going to benefit the most from a general, relatively speaking, a general approach to your training, which is hit your big lifts, balance your primals, try to get stronger, move the bar as fast as you can. But then once you enter this competitive realm and that starts to plateau, then an athlete may benefit more from a more directed training style, attacking either limiting factors or, again, really trying to compound their proficiency and their strengths. But I guess, what I'm worried about is there's people listening to this and they're like, oh, I gotta do this now. I got to do that now. And it's like, we always talk about that life cycle approach, and just if you're early, if you're young, just keep showing up and keep doing more than yesterday.
Yeah.
That's going to get you much further than trying to secret squirrel something.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, listen, guys, I got to check out because I'm like 3 minutes out from having to lecture here. So it's good chatting with you guys, and we'll catch up next week.
All right, see you, Steve.
Bye.
All right. But Denny, did we get everything today? We're at about an hour, aren't we?
Yeah, that's gonna put us at an hour, man. We hit all the topics.
Beautiful.
We kicked ass as usual.
All right, my man. Well, then let's call it a day. Let's wrap it up. Let's pack it up. Let's go home and shower. Because I've been sweating for the past 9 hours. All right, Danny, thanks a lot, buddy. It was great seeing you this weekend, too.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. And good talking to you, Callie. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.